Okay. So everything that we did today, you are 100% ready to do the 2 million assignment. The assignment that was due tomorrow, but it's due on Monday. You have all of the knowledge to do that. Okay? It's so simple that it's a joke, okay? Don't go and copy and paste from the website. Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit step forward. I wasn't planning to go that far today. I thought it was gonna be a lot slower, but that's fine. And let's see where this stuff is. We're almost done with chapter 1. $180 and the letters are so small. Should be saving also an ink. So basically on the next pages is the same, and then it tells you to go to a place called formalize. And then he begins talking about the truth about JSP. Says that JSP looks like HTML pages. Up to now, that's exactly the same, right? But JSP can be dynamic. So we know that we have basically 3 types of websites, right? What are they?
Static, dynamic.
The static, right? So that all it does is whatever is there, that's it, you can't change it. Then the other 2 are dynamic, like this one here that we're doing right now, that would be a dynamic because you can change by doing input, right? And the last one is the one where you have databases, the full-blown, where you actually go ahead and access, buy stuff from Best Buy or whatever. So those ones are not only static in some areas, but they're also dynamic because you can set the stuff in there, and then you can access data, and then. So the one that pays the big bucks is the last one, the ones that has databases. Because everybody can do web pages. Everybody's an expert on web pages, except when it comes to the databases. Like, what is that? I hate doing web pages because every single time that someone asks me to do a web page, someone comes out and says, "Oh, my nephew is 3 years old and he can do web pages." All right, have your nephew do it. I started so many web pages and I have never been able to collect a nickel from a web page. So I always came up with people like that, and I get really upset just by seeing it. Have your nephew do it. And especially when you have, at the beginning, there was something called, what was it, front page, I think it was? From Microsoft?
Oh, Microsoft front page?
Front page, right? So it seems like everybody wanted to do front page. And then Word, you were able to do the web pages with Word. So everybody was an expert. Anyway, so the difference between servlets and regular web pages, the JSP, is basically the way he puts it over here is that the JSP are for web pages that are static. Yes?
I'm sorry, what section was this?
Section?
Page, section?
Page? Okay, that's on page 24.
Thank you.
24. So the JSPs are totally static, except that you can put input in there and then what we did today. And then if you want something really fancy that you can do all kinds of stuff, then you use servlets. Now servlets will allow you to have HTML also. Okay? So he says that to decide which way to go, whether to use servlets or JSP, is based on the context of what you're doing. If you have a little bit of HTML, go with the servlets. If you're doing a lot of HTML, stay with the JSP. So the servlets are a little bit more difficult to work with, especially this Java. You know how we need Java, right? Especially with two-dimensional arrays. You know what happened? I was watching something from PBS the other day, And we know that we have 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions. Some crazy guys coming out with an idea of a 2.5 dimensions. I'm not kidding. And they actually did the graphics and stuff like that, and I go, oh my God. If we're having problems with 1 and 2 dimensions, imagine with 2.5 dimensions. Nobody's gonna get it. Yeah. There's a new type of math, not brand new, but it's maybe like 20 years old already. It's called fractal geometry. Okay, and that's how cell phones work nowadays. That you are able to take a cell phone and have pictures and have internet and have voice, because they implemented fractal geometry in there. And what they do is they take the antenna, and instead of having 1 antenna for voice, which are different frequencies, voices has a different frequency that internet and stuff like that. So what he does is he's got an antenna that is, the actual physical picture of the antenna is not straight, but it has curves. So every single side on the fractal has a different frequency. So it transmits the different things to the different side of the antenna. That's amazing. Really nice. Okay. Math has been the same for like 300 years, so finally somebody was able to come up with something new. A lot of the math people, they end up leaving math because it's boring, it's nothing new. They don't like Java, every day is something new. 2.5 dimensions. So we got this a little bit jumping. Let's go a little bit to chapter 2 to answer a question. So you know how you have an index over here, and you only have 1 page over here. So let's assume that I go ahead and create a new, not a project, but another, right here. I right click on pages, and I create a new, what is it? A new JSP, okay? Just another new JSP, and let's leave it like that, new JSP, okay? So here it is, and this one is gonna say, hello world, I am a new JSP, okay? So now I'm sitting here on the index, and I wanna be able to call that when the person clicks something. What happened there? Right here. On web pages, right? Okay. So what I did was I right click on web pages, right? And that one gave me this new JSP here. So the way that I call that one is through the forums. Okay, that's how you connect to the other web pages. And in this case, you go ahead and you say, action, camera, no, equals, and then you put the name of the web page that you want to call. So in this case, it's called new JSP. All right. Okay. So let's see what happens. So here we said something like reading, right? And up to now, what we were doing was that once I do this, then you have reading over here, right? This one, since I changed the form, what it does, it goes and loads the other file, the other page. Got confused?
So it's like a thank you page for something.
Exactly. Like, don't forget to send a check, stuff like that. Right. So that's really interesting. So it is 8:59. Anybody wants me to go over anything? You think you're ready to do the assignment? Very, very simple. I'm gonna set up the program on the internet this week, And basically, the difference between the tutorial and the assignment is going to look something like this. And notice that this guy has a whole bunch of more programs over here, but we'll use the simple way. Look, right here. Okay, here it is. Okay, that's right. How about if I just do the other one? What is it?
Shift F6.
There? So it will not look exactly the same like this, but it's the same idea. So in this place, you have more fields, right? And then you just go and submit them. Okay, forget about this edit and processing and the servlet. That will be for the next assignment. Yes.
Are we going to have to make a table?
Not yet. Right. It will be exactly what the tutorial is, but the program will be exactly the same thing, but expanded. Okay. So you just do it one more time. And then next week, hopefully we'll get into servlets, and then we'll do the same thing, but instead of using JSP, we'll go ahead and use the servlets. In other words, Java. Okay. And then basically the differences over there is that you notice over here I have the local host, the port, the student main, the confirm, and then I'm transferring the data. You see how I'm transferring the data that I'm sending out? With the JSP, you can hide all of this. No matter what you do, you can hide all of that so people don't know in what directory you are, what programs are you loading, what data are you passing. Okay? But sometimes this is nice because you can actually go ahead and change these guys here. Right on the line. Yeah. So we're cheating. You change whatever you pass right here in the line. You hit F5, execute the new data that you pass. That's kind of dangerous. Because you can go ahead and start typing stuff that one site that I did for these guys over here. The testing to make sure that they couldn't get into that. The guy was sitting there putting, what are you doing? Trying to see if I can have access to the database. And I didn't know about that, and luckily I had done it properly.